Katrina Kaif, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Katrina, you've been a movie star now. You've been working in the movies for over 10 years. Your success story is almost like a fairy tale. You came here not knowing anyone. You came here not knowing a word of the language. And here you are 12 years later, a major movie star. Do you have to pinch yourself sometimes to remind yourself that all of this is real? Or is it never a dream because it took a lot of hard work to get to this point?
But it's a very interesting thing you say, because it's been so many things. And in my case, I know we've discussed this before, there was never really that one film. You know, it's not like I came in with you know, say a debut opposite Shah Rukh Khan, and then all of a sudden everyone heralds you as the next big thing. It was never like that for me. I worked very slowly and steadily and progressively in the modeling industry, doing, you know, back-to-back ramp shows every day, doing your auditions for your commercials, you know, every day working, waking up, going to work, waking up, going to work. Then I did my South movies in the Telugu film industry, the Malayalam film industry. Then I slowly started with a smaller role in Sarkar, then Maine Pyar Kyun Kiya, then with Akshay, you know, our films, we started doing Namaste London. So it was little by little by little by little until kind of, you know, then one day I kind of saw the response, and then you realize, hey, that, you know, one second, you know, things are kind of, things are kind of going well.
Okay. Katrina, you said in an interview that Bollywood is a hard industry to work in, and that there is space for you in the industry till such time as you're passionate about making movies. Now, is it hard to stay passionate about making movies and to stay focused on making movies when there are so many distractions? You know, the red carpets and the magazine covers and, you know, the innumerable endorsements, all of these things. Is it hard to just stay focused on making movies when there's all of these things that are sort of pulling you in a different direction?
For me, it always has been about making the films. And it has been about the experience. The only thing I think which has distracted me at some points in my life, very few but some, has been personal battles or personal issues. It hasn't really been the trappings or the other things that go on in the film industry, like you're saying, like you know, the magazine covers or fashion or endorsements. It hasn't been that. For me, it's kind of been, once I found my rhythm, you could say, or found a rhythm with the work I was doing in films, I started to really love it, and I really enjoyed it. And for me, it just became about what we could do, and then promoting the film to get the film seen, you know, because being part of successful films gives you that little extra freedom as an actor to, you know, to get offered better films, and to keep doing the films you love.
But where Kangana and Deepika have managed to steer the conversation towards their movies and their choice of roles, their performances, isn't it true that when the conversation comes to Katrina Kaif, it's usually about how beautiful you are, or about when you're marrying Ranbir Kapoor?
Well, there's two ways of seeing it. I've seen this, this right now. The first I would say is in the last 2 years, due to a lot of my own personal choices, due to what was happening in my life personally, in a career spanning, you know, quite a few years, you are going to go through different phases in your life. And I was going through a particular phase where perhaps my work, you know, took a little bit, there were other things going on and took a little bit of a backseat, you could say. And in these 2 years, as you're saying, Kangana, Deepika, Vidya Balan, they have been doing very powerful, strong, female-driven, female-oriented films and performances which have been really loved and appreciated. So can I see that? Of course I can. Is it a puzzle to me? No. It's very, very simple. A lot of films that have been out there and been made, you know, not to take names because I've never liked to do that, they have been offered to me, and maybe I didn't see the merit in it at the time. Maybe my mind was not in the right space, as I was saying, to be able to recognize it. For whatever reasons, I didn't do them. So for me, it's a very calm, clear understanding of the situation. Yes, in the last 2 years, where I have, I'd say 1.5 years, also 2 of my films being very delayed. Bang Bang due to, of course, Ritik's injuries. Jaga Jasoos, you know, has been an ongoing process. it's just the way it is. You know,
Sure.
sometimes these things are going to happen. So yes, I do think my work and the movies I've been present in have been spoken about slightly less. But my point is, rightly so. It's not that I've had 3 releases in the last 2 years.
Correct. And yet no one's
you know,
speaking.
I've been doing, you know, they've been very author-backed, powerful performances, but people are speaking about maybe my equation with Ranbir or my, you know, your equation with whoever.
Right.
So for me, it's very understandable. It has been not by choice, but it's
But
due to lots of factors.
On some level, do you feel insulted that your marriage is the one thing that everyone's looking forward to?
No.
Not the next great performance, not the next great role. They only want to know when you're going to get married.
I don't feel that way.
Okay.
Because I actually feel, I'll tell you what I do feel. What I do feel is exactly what we just said, that since Bang Bang and since Dhoom, I have been a little less than probably all the years of my
Sure.
since I started my career in the cinema halls.
Right.
Up there on screen. I feel I've been away. Like today now, Phantom is releasing.
Yeah.
Another film which again got delayed because that got stuck in the middle of 2 films being made. Phantom's releasing. I'm again, you know, interacting with people a year after Bang Bang. I can feel myself that, you know, it's been a little bit of time.
Right.
So for me, really, it's just about, if you want your work to be spoken about, once the films are out there and you're doing good performances and you're back there in the groove of you know, people seeing you and watching your movies, automatically that balance will shift back to how it should be.
Haris Saeed, David Coleman Headley, Sajid Mir, Sabahuddin Umbi, most wanted terrorist list में इसका नाम है।
इस आदमी को हमारे सिर्फ एक एजेंट ने देखा है, नवाज मिस्त्री।
जो सबसे बड़ी टेररिस्ट पाकिस्तान में बैठे हैं, उन्हें कभी सजा नहीं मिलेगी।
देखो दानियाल, हम पाकिस्तान के लोगों पर अटैक नहीं कर रहे, हम सिर्फ उन टेररिस्ट को खत्म करना चाहते हैं।
मुझे उसके मर्डर में क्यों इन्वॉल्व किया?
That was a stupid mistake.
एक ही गुरदान फिर मार दूंगी।
You know, Bang Bang was meant to be this big blockbuster film. It didn't pan out that way. Dhoom 3 was the big blockbuster, but people missed you in that film. They felt that you had too little to do in that movie. Did these things frustrate you, especially in context to these 2 movies?
In context to Dhoom 3, no, not at all. Because in Dhoom 3, I think what I set out to achieve in my mind, I think I did that to a large extent. It was a time where I was very passionate about dance, and I saw this opportunity to train with the most amazing people in the world. And I think that I was very satisfied with the outcome of it. Could things have been better? Did things change along the way? Little things here and there? Yes, but that's okay. That goes on in life. Bang Bang was a film which I think it did well. I think the film maybe did not live up to the huge expectations it had, because it was Hrithik Roshan, it was an action film. We were coming together after Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, which was such a loved film. There were huge expectations, Hrithik looking like that, looking amazing. But I think every film has its destiny. The destiny Bang Bang got was according to me right. It was fair. It's gone down as a film people like, not a hugely loved film. But there was a lot of obstacles in that film. It was just one of those films that had the destiny of being a rocky road.
Right.
And I think that the end result was you know, good for how difficult the journey was.
Did you ever feel a hint of envy when other actresses, you know, landed exciting roles, or their films started doing well, especially at a time when yours were being delayed?
No, because there was so much going on in my own, you know, I'd had a few injuries at that time after Dhoom 3. There was so much going on, I really couldn't pay attention to it as I probably would have now.
Okay.
So now when I see people doing amazing roles or doing amazing films, then beyond just enjoying it, which I do, like I saw Tanu as Manu recently, and I just enjoyed the film. It was so much fun, especially that first scene between the 2 of them at the
mental asylum.
Yeah. It was just it was too much fun. It inspires you.
Okay.
It inspires you. Do you feel sometimes a pinch that, oh, why has that not come to me? Maybe not that particular film, because that role was very different. But if you see a good performance or a good film, you always feel that pinch. You always want it.
Do you find yourself wondering when your Piku or your Tanu Weds Manu returns, your Queen, your Kahani will come along?
Not so much because, as I said, that when those films happened, I wasn't in that frame of mind.
Sure.
So I cannot blame myself or hate myself for the fact that I just wasn't, that wasn't my destiny or my journey at that moment, at that point. Let's see. I mean, if it's in my destiny, it's going to come. You know? If that amazing film for me or that amazing role for me is going to come to me, then I'm sure with the amount the universe has given me, God will bring it to me.
I read this story that you walked into the rap party of Tamasha and there was this awkwardness between Deepika Padukone and you.
Do you think I'm very silly? When you think of Ranbir, do you think of a silly person? When you think of Deepika, do you think of a silly person? Like, no, we're not silly, foolish people. Like, we're not. I don't go storming onto the set of a place if I'm not invited or if I'm not meant to be there and stand and go,
Kabir Khan says that the role he's given you in Phantom is the best role of your career so far.
I don't think I'm the right judge for that.
Sure.
And I would disagree with that because a film we did together only, me and Kabir together, called New York, was to me will remain such a special role and such a special film for me, but more importantly a special role for me. So I think Phantom maybe, and I have faith that Phantom is a better film than New York because I think Kabir is only growing and making more interesting films day by day. But for me, I wouldn't be able to say that Phantom is a better role than New York because I love the character in New York.
Okay. You said that Anurag Basu's vision as a director is very different. He sees things from different angles. You said that after watching Barfi, you wanted to see a different side of yourself, and that's one of the reasons you were excited to work with him on Jagga Jasoos. So what's that experience been like? And did you discover things about yourself while making this movie then?
I've discovered patience.
Okay. Of course.
I've discovered patience for sure. See, Dada's process is very, very unique, that's for sure. And that because it's the first film I'm working with him, I'm discovering as we go along. But at the same time, even though there's so much madness going on and there's so much mayhem and there's so much testing of your patience happening because of the way we shoot and the time we're shooting, you kind of feel that you are in the presence of someone who is doing something very special.
Right.
So it's like you let the mad genius be at work. You know, you let the mad genius play at work, and you just all kind of, wait to see how you fit into the puzzle. So that's how that process has been. And I see little. Obviously, I've not seen the full film yet. What's going on? But you see these little, just glimpses of something where you feel like, oh, this guy's vision is special. He has a special mind. He has a special eye.
Right. What about Fitur? You play a character that's based on Estella.
Yes.
Estella, of course, has been described as an icy tease. What are you enjoying about this character?
You know what I love so much about Estella's character is that, well, it's not Estella. We have a different name for here, of course. But in Fitur, the character I play, is that we don't, me and Gattu discussed it a lot when we were making the film. That, okay, what is she really thinking? Is she being genuine here? Is she playing him? Will the audience think? We used to have these long discussions that would go round and round. And then we kind of just both came to the conclusion that she's not clear herself what she's doing.
Right.
She's not clear herself. She's not being manipulative purposely. She's not being seductive for a mean end result. Right. She's just being what she knows how to be. And is it confusing? Can some people in the audience think it's manipulative? Does she come across as cold? Does she come across as icy? Does she come across as confused? Yes, but isn't that true of so many people in life? So I found the complexities of the relationships in Fitur really amazing, and that's one film that from the time I signed it to the time we shot for it to now, you know, that the journey has been very clear, and it's been very you know, the process has been exactly what I wanted it to be. So I'm happy with that.
Okay. Now, both Fitur and Jaga Jasoos have had their fair share of speed bumps, if you like. Jaga Jasoos, of course, being delayed repeatedly. Also, both films lost actors during production. Fitur lost Rekha, Govinda is no more in Jaga Jasoos. Do you tend to get anxious or superstitious when things go wrong like that?
No, not like that. I think you gotta be fearless about making films, you know. And I mean, there's many times where I've gotten insecure in my life, and I've gotten rattled and lost my confidence, and gone through phases where I just lost my focus or my confidence. But you do eventually come back to the fact of what I said before about passion. You know, you have a place in the film industry as long as you're passionate and you can find that love for your films. So I see that there on these films. I see that present in Jaga Jasoos. I see that present in Fitur. So I'm not, even though yes, things have happened which were a little unusual or a little, you know, maybe even unfortunate, I think that it's all in the end going to work out right for the destiny of those films. There's a genuine desire to make good films that is there inherently on both of these film sets. So I'm not worried about it.
Over the years, Katrina, do you feel like you've learned to deal with gossip better? I read this story that you walked into the rap party of Tamasha and there was this awkwardness between Deepika Padukone and you. Have you become more thick-skinned when it comes to gossip?
No, but it's an interesting question you asked me, because I also read that too. And when I was reading that, I wanted to ask the person that, like, when you think of Katrina, do you think I'm very silly? When you think of Ranbir, do you think of a silly person? When you think of Deepika, do you think of a silly person? Like, no, we're not silly, foolish people. Like, we're not. I don't go storming onto the set of a place if I'm not invited or if I'm not meant to be there and stand and go, you know what I mean? Nobody does that, Like, I just think that these people have got such wild imaginations, one, but at the same time I can't blame anyone because I will not. I have not, probably will continue not to do so for a while, speak in detail about what goes on in my personal life. For exactly the same reasons we spoke about earlier, that it's got to be balanced out. You know, you are not just somebody's other half or somebody's partner. You're not. That's not the way I see it.
Finally, Katrina, on the one hand, you have this great life, this great movie star life. You walk the red carpet at Cannes, you meet your idol in Jane Fonda, you shoot an ad film with Julianne Moore and Naomi Watts. And on the other hand, you know, you're a young girl who's sharing a house with her boyfriend, you're running a house. I mean, is that what keeps you grounded, the sort of, you know, the reality of the normal everyday life, of being the normal everyday girl then?
I think every woman, no matter who you are, no matter what industry you're in, you have to learn to balance your life. I mean, you know, this book which is it Sheryl Sandberg? She wrote called Lean In. That was something that I really found fascinating. Obviously, that's in a slightly different capacity, but she spoke very well. She spoke very well on this topic. That, you know, how do women be ambitious in their field, chosen field of work, and still balance and have other things in their life, whether it's your family, your boyfriend, whatever it is, whatever later on in life, you know, your marriage or whatever. You have to be able to do it. And I think that book actually was really verbalized and vocalized mostly that there is to say about it. You have to learn to balance it. Are there some sacrifices along the way that are made for women especially? Yes, I do think so. But it's life. It's the way the world is, and you just gotta not lose focus of you and your identity.
Wise words to live by. Thank you so much. Looking forward to watching you more frequently on the screen in the
I
months
hope
ahead.
so. I hope so, yes.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure, Katrina.
Thank you.
Thank you.